So good morning. Gotta get comfortable here.
Morning,
Good
well,
morning.
How are you, Heston?
I finally have a break.
Yeah,
Been busy. Yeah,
it is been busy for me too, just a ton of work, which is good, I guess, in some ways,
same.
but
Ton of
sometimes too
work.
much
Got
work is too much.
family relatives coming by. So, it's crazy. New York City, small places or small space with family. It gets a little nuts.
Oh, I bet, yeah. Everything's tiny living spaces in New York City unless you got millions and millions of dollars, right?
Yep, yep. I wish I'll win the lottery one day.
Just ask for a raise from your employer.
Yeah, need a little more than a raise.
Whereabouts in New
You
York
need to.
City?
We need to do. We need to do this. Like the events that they put spot on the TV, like circle, and I think it was like the Big Brother for Wi-Fi, and put like a big prize, and everyone goes there. The one that designs the best Wi-Fi wins like 150. That's the
Oh,
goal.
like a reality show?
Yeah,
I don't think
exactly.
anyone would watch that.
Oh, look at
Hello,
that.
Anders.
Hello.
Yours has he's using your is that a polar bear?
Yes, of course it is. Can't you see the snow?
Yeah. If that's a polar bear, that's a polar bear that needs to eat a little bit more. Global warming, I guess. How are you,
Yeah.
Anders?
Uh, well, fine. Actually, I just came in. I was doing some patching a couple of blocks away. So, but
Patching?
the sun is
Cables?
shining, and we actually got above 0 degrees now. So I'm fine.
Wow. 0 degrees. Dang.
Well, Celsius I should add that
Ah,
as well.
that's not too cold. That's
No,
perfect. I like the
yeah.
cold.
Yeah, I like cold too. It's been good over here. I mean, we live San Diego, so weather's usually, 70s, 65s. That's when we can 65 degrees Fahrenheit when we consider that cold.
Wait, you're in San Diego? I thought you were in San Francisco.
No, I moved to San Diego June last year, or was it 2 years ago?
Oh.
Yeah.
Hard to keep track, I guess.
But you're still
Yeah.
working in that's you're still doing work at Stanford, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I am. Yeah, I go up there. I go up to the Bay regularly, so I'm there all the time. And I have a lot of clients out there, so that's why I usually go up there every once in a while.
Drive or fly.
Both, it just depends, right? If I have a client I need to go to, I'll just do the day, fly in and fly out same day. The drive
Oh,
is,
crazy.
I think, like 8 hours.
Yeah, it looks that LA traffic.
Yeah, I usually leave really early, around 4, just to beat the LA traffic. Once you leave at 5, you're gonna hit LA traffic. It gets bad.
I think you need to get
Uh,
a plane like Chris Savants and fly yourself.
yeah, I know, right? That would be nice.
That'd be cool.
I'm not quite at that level.
Then,
Create a Wi-Fi
then we
plane.
need to ask raise.
Maybe I'll
Then we need to ask for a raise.
Yeah, bigger raise.
I'm gonna have to give myself a raise to get a plane. I mean, those small planes are not cheap either, right? They go for a couple 100,000.
Oh, I'm sure I thought it was more,
Yeah.
but then all like maintenance and flight
Yeah,
lessons you gotta pay for.
the flight lessons alone
Um,
are quite a bit, but I think even like a Cessna aircraft costs quite a bit.
Honestly, I have no idea. Never looked into it.
Yep, yep. Not in my budget.
Let's see, I'll tell you,
Pretty sure.
here, I found one for sale at $630,000.
That's not bad. Yeah.
It looks decent too. It's not like the really old one, right? Those really old Cessna planes.
Pretty sure my
Uh,
wife would kill me if I even told her I'd try and do like flight lessons now. Because she's like, you know, you have kids, right? I'll be like, oh yeah.
I would do a plane. It'd be nice
But-
to fly somewhere, and you know, maybe I'll put an antenna on the
Yeah.
bottom of the plane and shoot signal down.
And the FCC will send scrambled jets to get you.
I know, right? What do you guys think
I guess
about
statistic-
hitting CWNE 500?
Wow.
The number or what's his name? Mark?
Just the
Is it Mark?
number. Yeah, Mark made
Oh.
500.
Yeah.
But what do you think about having
Yeah.
500 CWNEs? Do you think they're going too fast, or is it too easy to obtain?
I feel like they slowed down recently. It was fast for a while, right?
Yeah, it was fast in
I-
the
I think
300s and
it's-
400s.
I think it's going fast because a lot of people is reaching out like the age and experience that need to be having to get the certification. Because for me, I still have like a little bit long way to go if I want to go for it in terms of experience and everything else that I need to gather. But I think for the other guys, like they're getting to the point that a lot of people is getting the amount of the I forgot the word in English. Sorry, I speak Spanish.
What's the word in Spanish?
Yeah, the amount, like the amount of for requisitos. I forgot how to say requisitos. Sorry.
Credits?
Yes, the grades they need for getting the certification. So I think that's why we start to go like a little bit fast getting all these people certified. And then as Kat has to say, we start to slowing down for the like more bigger numbers. And I think it's going to be starting to slow down while a lot of new people and new engineers start getting like studying and experience and getting to walk into the world Wi-Fi. And we saw that on the Blue Land PC. I saw a lot of people that is younger and younger than me and they're starting to get into the Wi-Fi community. Yeah, and I was like, whoa, I feel old now. and I think that's my perspective on that one.
Okay. Yeah, I think.
I mean, they made
I
like,
also think the same.
oh, go ahead, sorry.
No, go ahead.
I think they made some of the exams harder, right? The CWAP
Mhm.
ended up being, I actually have to rewrite it because I let it expire. I haven't finished half of them, but I did the CWAP. I don't remember what number it was. I didn't think it was that hard. And then I think they just changed it again and then it got
Yeah.
harder. And I think they're on the second revision since I've written it. I haven't even bothered opening the book yet.
You
Yeah, there
just imagine how hard it will be when you add Wi-Fi 7 to it.
Oh
Bigger
yeah.
exam.
Oh, maybe I should get on this soon.
I don't even know how we're gonna
Yeah.
troubleshoot even just Wi-Fi 6. Like it's gonna be the CWAP for Wi-Fi 6 is gonna be pretty difficult with
Yeah.
the RUs you have to know, and how do you know
Yeah.
which RU you're looking at? It's not gonna be easy. And there were a few years where the CWAP was easy. It was I think that's one of the ones I took. I was studying for the original CWAP, and I didn't have enough time, so I didn't study that far enough. I remember doing this couple of years back. It was a long time ago, but I remember studying for it, and it was hard. Right, I had to do a lot of frame captures. I had to know all these frames that I've never seen before and try to identify them. And then CWNP decided to give the new CWAP exam, and I had to sit on the old one before the new one because I didn't want to restudy again. But I didn't pass. And then so I only studied just for a little bit after reading the new CWAP book, and I passed the exam pretty quickly. And then after that, they did redo CWAP to make it harder. I think it was a little too easy because the analysis just has the reputation of being a more challenging exam,
Right.
and it should be. It should be somewhat challenging and not too easy. And it was getting to the point where a lot of people were saying, just take the exams and you'll pass. And it was like, yeah, the exam shouldn't be that way. I don't think so. But given how complicated it is to do Wi-Fi and the amount of people I run into who don't know how to do Wi-Fi, that's that becomes the challenge, right? Is where do you find the
Yeah.
balance between a difficult exam and one that's
Yeah.
not too easy?
Yeah. Yeah. So I did the CWAP 402 in 2018. Wow. Oh my God, that
Yeah.
seems like eternity.
I think that's
And
the
I
one
have
I
the
need to take.
404. I have to use my voucher, I think, this year. Um, so I don't know.
For sure
I just can never, I know, I just never put the time to finish these things.
So for
I
these
guess I've,
exams, the certifications, do you guys prefer to just do the book study? Like you just prefer to read the book and then take the exam, or do you guys prefer taking boot camps or even video training?
You know how I did my CWNA? I talked to a friend of mine that he was training to be a trainer, and I told him, "Hey, I get distracted really easily. If I see a flyer, I'm like, oh, bye." So for me, reading the book, if I don't know, if I haven't started anything, it's really hard for me. So I took like 5 days, 8 hours each day, and then I could read the book because I need to first like to talk to someone. And when I talk to someone, I get all the information in my head, and I don't need like to read again everything. So yeah, it was the first 5 days with him, and then I read the book, and then it was pretty easy to do the exam. But reading like a long book is just kill me. Yeah, not kind of person. I need to have like first a one-on-one talk about everything that goes into the book, and then I will read all the book, and it will be pretty easy for me to absorb more information. I get really distracted.
How about you guys?
I think I'm similar. I think if I listen to someone, I'll learn it much faster than just like me reading a book. I'm like, I could just go on YouTube and do something else, you know? So I guess I should go on YouTube and read a book or watch videos on CWNP or whatever it is. But I usually swing through the book, you know, do the questions at the end, see how much I retained. If not, read it again. I'll also do the practice tests online because usually you get those, you know, and I find the questions are fairly similar most of the time. But yeah, like I wish I should have probably taken the Peter McKenzie class. I think it would have been just interesting to hear his, you know, the angle of how he teaches, and you know, I've heard so much about it, so I'd like to experience it. I should have done that at what do you call it, WLPC, but I didn't. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna
Well,
take his next time I
I
go.
did the Peter's class in Prague, so
Mhm.
he didn't get too much into specifics. It was more like a general presentation, a lot of war stories, I guess. But it's
his
nice
class.
to hear those as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he
Yeah,
does
just
see a
listen.
lot of interesting Wi-Fi things, right? So he has all those captures of stuff that we normally don't see.
Yeah. I love hearing other people's stories, like how they assessed the problem, how they solved it, things they learned, you know. It's like even for like the simplest tasks, it's like, oh, it's another way to, you know, just something else like, oh, I could never thought about doing it that way, right? I always learn, and just like watching people work, like how they use Wireshark or OmniPeak or whatever, it's just like, wow, I had no idea you could do that. Like, do that again, you know. It's so cool. Yeah.
We got some new people here.
Yeah.
Please feel welcome.
Yeah.
Unmute yourself
Alex
Yes.
if you
has
can.
been to a few. Welcome, Alex. Welcome,
Yeah.
Chris.
I'm jumping in and out. I'm already at work, like most of you guys. But for me, like the studying and whatnot, I definitely prefer actually reading the book first. I can't lie about that. I'll read into the book, define those concepts, and then go and watch a video course if I do that, or like expand and table a topic that I don't know into a video format if I don't understand from them.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I like to read first and then dive into it with some sort of lab, and usually do it on a specific topic rather than reading the whole book. Like I'll read if it's about like Wi-Fi 6, I'll read that topic and then I'll try to replicate it. Replicating is the hardest part, right? How about you, Chris?
Yes, I agree.
Getting in there. Well, like, what's a challenging topic for you guys to learn?
I mean, most of us are struggling with all these bit fields and places like that. But I come to the conclusion that there are no such questions in the exam. No, like which is the third bit of the blah 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 stuff like that. It's more
I haven't
like
taken the new AP, but maybe the new AP has it. But I know it wasn't in the older one. One that I took.
Yeah, the 404. How's it? Maybe I don't know. I haven't taken it either. I'll let you know.
Because in the end, I mean, if you, I guess if you're not like Devin or Peter McKenzie, you basically don't know all the bits and pieces. You have to look them up anyway.
And it's fine to look them up. I think that's
Yeah.
okay to do, right? As long as you know where to find it. And if you can identify it, that's one thing, right? Identifying the bit and then knowing if it's right or wrong, that's when you could look it up, right? You go, okay, I don't know if this is right. Let me look it up real quick.
Right.
Whether you have the standard there on your laptop, because I always have the standards on my laptop. That way I can pull it up if I have to.
You haven't turned full Chat GPT yet?
I don't use it that much, no.
I'm so
It's
against
wrong
it, to be
a
honest
lot.
with you.
Oh, sorry. What'd you say, Alex?
I'm actually quite against ChatGPT.
Yeah, with Wi-Fi, it's not that accurate.
No, it's really bad. I've asked it a few questions and I forgot what it was, and I was like, that is 100% not true. And I'm like, that is not right. And they're like, oh yes, you're correct. This is how it. I'm like, then why did you give me the wrong information
Yeah,
to
you
begin
can
with?
correct it. Maybe someone's feeding it wrong info. I don't know.
Yeah.
It could be that, right? Because it is getting this data somewhere. So it may be getting the wrong data from
someone's blog or
certain
something like that.
websites.
Yeah.
Yeah, just stop doing Wi-Fi and go to 5G instead. It will tell you.
You want to train the AI to just recommend 5G. Have any of you guys gotten into 5G?
Not
No,
quite
I'd
yet.
like to.
I mean,
Yeah, I haven't
it's
yet.
not even a push yet for like our stadium venues.
Oh, really?
We're
Okay.
not. No, we're not. We still have DAS systems, but they normally run separate of the wireless. Mainly because so many IoT devices and hand scanners can't support it.
Yeah.
So you still have to deploy full Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could see it for scanners, but yeah, like you said, most organizations either have to, actually most of them will probably just have to purchase new scanners, right? If they don't have SIM card slots. So and then they can't even do like an eSIM because the OS is probably too old to even support it.
Yeah,
It
it's
needs the
pretty common to
frequency
see like
support.
we'll see iPhones be turned into like
Yeah.
scanners.
Yeah.
That's really common because you can manage them with an MDM, and then we can push out certificate-based authentication for like always on VPN stuff. And
but then you have to get some sort of cradle for. Oh no, you can use the camera though, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Camera
Okay.
does QR code scanners, and then all alcohol and beverages and stuff already has QR codes on it. So it's a what do you want? Scan the QR code on the back of the can. It
Yeah.
builds their tab, and then they can check out. And then from that perspective, they can use DAS or wireless.
Okay. So even for operations, they just use DAS.
Yeah, it can be. It depends on what facility you're in and if they actually built out good bull Wi-Fi or like because sometimes we take over stadiums, like that's normally how it goes. So it's about evolving their Wi-Fi and then
Mhm.
actually normally just requires an entire refresh. And then once you have that refresh done, then you rely more on wireless because then you don't have to worry about so many other things like VPN and stuff like that.
Yeah. What's the most common deployment vendor you see in stadiums?
It's really, it used to be really heavy Cisco, but now it's always a battle between Extreme and Aruba to see who's got the lowest prices and delays. Another huge thing. Like we have a really good lineup with Aruba, so we can get almost immediate turnaround and everything. Like I think we placed an order for 650 Aruba Wi-Fi 6E access points and got them at all in 2 weeks.
Wow.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, we have a pretty
Yeah.
good connection.
Yeah, I ordered one Meraki 6E access point and it had a 1 day lead time.
Yep.
It actually showed up?
Why I ordered it.
The 9163. Is that what it is?
This one was a 9-1.
No, 9166 or 9163.
Yeah, because I had a client that had all MR56s, but they needed an AP quickly, and the MR56 had a longer lead time. And it was just for like one area that all of a sudden they needed coverage for, and so it's farther from the other APs. I'm like, the 6E will do. We'll just make it work.
I mean, access point lead times are definitely recovering. But switch
Mhm.
lead times are still crazy.
They're still long, you know.
Yeah,
A
almost a
lot
year, I
more
think, in some.
components.
It's horrible.
Yeah.
It's horrible. I have 3 projects that it's been like 2021 and I still don't have switches.
Yeah, they're gonna be end of sale soon.
Yeah. Actually, yeah, they're telling me that if I want, I can change models, but it's still the lead time is 8 months. So yeah, I'm like, okay.
Okay, yeah, that's and it's curious how to handle those, right? Because you need them now, and then if it's too long of a lead time, you're gonna be back to the upgrade cycle.
Yeah, and I think that's what the vendors are doing with the switches. But yeah, also all the materials and all the lacking the materials. Yeah, it's been getting a lot of industries.
Hmm. So what are you guys working on this week?
Well, I'm on call, so I'm working with solving cases. But well, actually, I've been struggling with the basement of the university library because there's a kind of a huge storage area there, and there are lots of these metallic shelves and moving shelves,
Yeah.
and that's
Do they move too?
pretty much. If you take the worst design of a warehouse and you multiply it by 3, then you have that kind of environment.
Yeah. And do those shelves move? They have a
Yeah.
wheel.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah, I have one
Everything.
environment like that. They do it's in a concrete building. They have movable shelves and they just store a lot of historical documents, and
Yeah.
it's like an archives.
Yeah, it is
So,
an archive. You're well, actually, in Sweden, you're obliged by law to store and archive everything. It's kind of funny. They have the Royal Library down in Stockholm. They're actually storing both radio and TV shows and Swedish-made computer games. Pretty much everything that is made in Sweden.
Yeah. It's like a time capsule, right?
Yes, yes, for sure. They're actually trying to find out how to hack and make it because they are it's kind of law that you should be able to see and experience those things like 30 years from now. So
Mm,
where do you get hold of an Xbox that's working 30 years
Yeah.
from now? Or even a computer that can run that operating system required to run that game.
Even if they tried to use an Xbox from back in the day,
Yeah.
it'll probably have a red ring of death
Mm.
at the time they use it. Are you deploying Eduroam out there too?
Yeah, I mean it's being deployed everywhere. Where you have an access point from the university, you have Eduroam.
Yeah. Have you deployed WPA3 with Eduroam?
No, not yet. I have some. I haven't started deploying the Wi-Fi 6E access points yet. I'm still waiting for them. That will happen after the summer break.
That reminds me, I need because I'm gonna be testing it in one building, and you just reminded me that I need to enable it this morning before everyone comes in.
And then in about half an hour, 20 minutes, we'll be like, Roy will be like, sorry guys, I gotta go disable it. That's my fear.
I still think the main deal breaker would be that if you turn on transition mode in 5 gigahertz, that's where it will likely break, because then you have a protected management frame set to optional, and that
I don't like
might
enabling it.
yeah,
It's fine.
that might break
Like
some
the
clients.
transition.
Yeah.
Because it breaks the devices and it causes greater times when authenticating the first time, which leads to more user complaining about just like, oh, why does it take so long to connect to the Wi-Fi? Or I try to connect and the first time it doesn't connect, so I have to try it again and then I get connected because it goes through, well, if it doesn't support WPA3, fall back to WPA2.
Mhm.
And
So do you
unless
think
you're using,
deploying
unless you're,
WPA3 only would be the solution?
no, because most devices don't support it yet.
You're
And
talking
it just
enterprise or
on
SAE?
I'm talking like just SAE for
Oh,
pre-show
okay.
not
Yeah.
W. Yeah, but like on 6E, if you're gonna enable it, like 6 gigahertz, it's fine. All
Yeah.
devices are working fine there, but like in that transition config with the 5 gigahertz, it's just been nothing but
Yeah,
Do
definitely.
you know which type of clients there are most likely to misbehave, or some versions of operating system and stuff like that?
it depends. For the most part, it's all those unique IoT devices and one-off devices that you see just like in the vendor space, like in the venue space. Like I don't have
IoT on using WPA3 transition mode. So they're using
obviously,
pre-shared key then, right?
yeah, SAE mode. But I just see a lot of issues with that.
I think the adoption for SAE is going to take longer than enterprise. Like
Oh,
so far in my enterprise testing, EPLS, right? It's pretty straightforward, except for I'm trying to find like old Intel or old Dells with old Intel cards, like the obviously the AX200 series is fine. I think there's like 1 or 2 series before that, that's okay, and then it drops off. So I'm trying to find some of those clients to see what happens. I gotta like dig through my client services or help desk closet and be like, I want this old machine or something. But yeah, I haven't had too many problems with enterprise, just playing around with it at home for our corporate stuff. So we might push it out into a floor in the office and see what happens. But I'm more worried about SAE already like does weird things, and I have all these things at home, obviously, that I'm like WPA2 is going to be around for a bit, I think.
It's already been around for a bit.
Yeah, yeah. It'll continue to be around for a bit, So I don't know.
Yeah, I want to test it specifically for Eduroam since that's what we have on
Right.
campus.
Yeah, and they wrote that, fairly strict doc of you're not gonna have different names, right?
Yeah,
So,
well, Anders knows.
yeah. Yeah, and Mark, I forgot his last name, but see, I mean, if he,
Yeah.
he posted some great information around that, which was
Mark Houts,
interesting.
yeah.
We should all call him the Big G now. If you know your Roman numbers, Big G.
I don't, but I get it.
He got a good number. That must have been, and then somebody came in after him, right? As 501.
Yeah.
I would have been like, man, 501.
501, this sounds like an error code.
Yeah, I know. Well, 500 is an error code too.
Yeah. Do
500.
they still post like on Twitter, the CWE people, like every
Yeah,
person?
I know they do it on LinkedIn. That's
Mhm.
where I saw it.
Oh yeah, I saw it on, I don't use LinkedIn enough, but I guess there's a lot more work related things on there, which is actually better. Twitter's such a trash dump pile.
Yeah, I prefer LinkedIn than Twitter.
Yeah.
Going on Twitter, it's a hit or miss, and mostly it's miss.
Yeah, yeah. I think everyone's been,
I just have the soft spot for Twitter since that's the first social media that I used.
same here.
So I prefer it. And I like how simple it is, right? It's like just text. Until they start
I
adding.
never understood Mastodon. That's still a mystery to me.
I didn't even attempt. I was after seeing all the challenges people had there, it didn't make sense to me. But there is the one that Jack Dorsey's doing that is competitive to Twitter, but it's invite only.
Oh, exclusive.
Yeah. But I heard it's much better there right now. But of course it is, right? It's smaller. There's not as many users. It's just Twitter. Twitter is like walking on the street, but you have everybody there. So you're gonna get all sorts of different people. That's the problem. Maybe
A lot
it's
of
like walking Vegas. I don't know.
Yeah, a lot of people have left Twitter. So that's, yeah.
Well, it's
I don't
funny though,
use-
a lot of them leave and then they come back because they're like, I wasn't, I didn't get the same amount of interaction I get on Twitter at other places. So they come back and so a lot of people check in. They're like, hey, just want to see what's going on here. And I'll see posts like, oh, there's still people here. I'm like, yeah, we're still here.
A lot of people just lurking on Twitter, I think.
Yeah, there's a lot of lurkers, but I think now you have to get used to building some sort of list or creating a filter, like filtering out words, and then it becomes better after that. Because there's a lot of things I don't see. And the only way I see it is if somebody somehow mentions it off Twitter, like, hey, there was this problem. Like, oh, I didn't see that. And, then and I mute a lot of people, so it's not as bad for me at least. But I find that LinkedIn provides more value than Twitter. That's just what I've seen.
Yeah, there's posts that link to better articles and more in-depth discussions. I definitely agree.
Yeah, but in some cases, LinkedIn is becoming more like Twitter, where people just post random things or memes. And it's like it's just the
don't
one
want LinkedIn to
platform
turn into that.
we have before it goes crazy.
I don't know, like I have no social media on my phone personally because like, I have a quite addicting personality. I have all of it on my phone.
That's a smart way to do it, I think.
Yeah, it'll turn you dumb if you read too much of it.
We have a MFA on like everything. And yeah, I need my phone to get into everything. And I can't tell you how many times I've logged into something, done the MFA, and been like, oh, and then there goes 5 minutes wasted, like, so it's probably, it's a good thing, I think. I should follow your footsteps on that.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
with the algorithm, you're gonna have to train it, right? you gotta go look at specific things so that way it only shows you that.
Yeah.
It's really hard to change that after you've used a platform for years on the end.
No, I think the algorithm is being like a lot faster recently because I started like doing this testing with a lot. I have a lot of friends that were with me in high school, so I have them on LinkedIn, and they started different careers. And if I start like posting wherever they are saying about logistics, like 3-4 days, I start getting more posts about logistics, and also get like email sponsors from LinkedIn, like say, "Hey, I see you want to go into logistics," and I'm like,
Yeah.
"Okay." Yeah, it got a lot faster. Like 3-4 days is everything you need, like to get the algorithm changed.
And I think it's mainly for sales, right? Like if you're interested now, somebody wants to get in front of you quickly, not 30 days from now. So I think it's that part's not mainly algorithm, it's more just a sales thing. So it's targeting. And I get a lot of messages on LinkedIn just from salespeople. And it's
All the time. LinkedIn's
it's
ridiculous.
crazy.
Mhm. Do you guys get a
especially
lot of, oh, go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead. Get a lot of
You go
what?
first.
Oh, do you get a lot of calls too? Like in general, sales calls?
Mhm.
Like, I basically just don't answer my phone if I don't know the number now. It's
So
just so bad.
my desk phone is unplugged. I don't plug it in. So the only thing I'll get are voicemails on my email. And even then, I don't listen to those.
Yeah.
And on my personal phone, I get a lot of calls. So since I have an iPhone, I enabled anything that if your number is not on my contact list, you just go straight to voicemail. It doesn't ring. So I have to, you have to leave a message in order for me to get back to you. And so that's
Send a
how I get
text.
rid of a lot of sales calls. And I can see the transcription. So if it says, if it looks obvious, I just delete it. And at least my phone doesn't ring as much anymore.
I did that and then I missed a call from our daycare. My wife reamed me out. So I have
Yeah.
to, cause like they call
Yeah,
from different
that
numbers.
those you gotta, so I add those numbers to my
Yeah,
contact.
I didn't know they'd call from a different number, so. And I think I missed the doctor call once too, so. Now I selectively answer, but yeah,
Yeah, I mean, you have to, otherwise your day gets ruined because all
yeah,
you're doing is answering calls.
yeah. Sorry, Alex, you were gonna say something.
Back to the LinkedIn, it's just like almost agitating. Like you have to like disable, for me, I have to like disable instant mail messaging. I feel like working in the wireless space, I feel like I get reached out to like all the time, just like do like
Yeah.
stupid things.
Yeah, I agree. I should probably disable that too. I just hit delete.
I read them, and some of them I respond just for the hell of it, like
Never know, I
like
guess, sometimes.
like recruiting. When I respond to the ones where they try to recruit me for a position that doesn't even relate to what I'm doing, and they'll say something like your
Those are always
profile,
the
yeah, your profile looked really great. I have this position, and then I'll ask things like, what about my profile is great, and then they don't respond. So I'll ask like digging questions like, oh, what do you think? Which part of my LinkedIn profile resonated with this job description that you have? Or I'll respond really quickly and I'll just say, this looks interesting, but my minimum salary is 700,000 a year. And then they just like remove me off their list.
Never hear from them again. That's a good way of
Anything
doing
they
it.
get a note on their list that says this, don't contact this guy.
Yeah.
But some of them they're decent. Like just depends who they are. Like I mean, since we have the podcast, I get a lot of different requests, but lately it's been a lot of because we have a podcast, now I get a lot of messages from people who do podcast related products. So either somebody wants to grow the number of followers or they'll want to do something for us, like, hey, we can convert your videos to this, and you know, some sort of service. That's what we get a lot of.
I guess
And
at
some,
that point, you probably need LinkedIn messages on, because with the podcast, they probably hit you up for a lot of sponsorship stuff too as well.
yeah, there's some, like some of them do come in either through Twitter or through LinkedIn. So I do have to read some of them, but I can tell right away. And depending on when somebody sends a friend request or connection request, I read the message, and usually if they don't actually put in a real message, I don't really accept them. Or if we don't have any mutual connections, I won't accept it. And then there's the other side, which I know some of you get. I forgot who was it. I think Alex, you mentioned it. Like, you'll get requests to fix things. Like someone will message me saying, "Hey, I saw your Cisco 9800 podcast or blog post. Can you help me fix this?" I'm like, no.
There are things to do.
Yeah.
Opens a can of worms.
Yeah, it's a can of worms.
Yeah.
Down the rabbit hole of like, oh my God. And then,
Yeah, I have one guy
I get that
that's
enough
asking me to compare two different vendors. And it's like, you want me to create, he's asking me for a sheet that compares both vendors. I'm like, why? Like, you're asking me to create the sheet? Like, you could go research it. I mean, I'll create it and then put it on the website, but it's quite a lot of work and it sounds very specific. It's like he's wanting me to do his comparison for him to pick a vendor.
yeah, I get that enough at work. I don't have time to, not that I get people bugging me about that on LinkedIn or anything, but I can't imagine. Yeah.
It's like the new junk mail, right? Like, everything is mainly LinkedIn is where you get most of the junk. It's like some random messages.
Yeah,
all the-
I'll say my junk mail is pretty cleaned up now. It's pretty good. Spammers, all the junk. It's not...
It only took you probably like a month of unsubscribing from all the spam, right?
Yeah,
I
I think our
know.
spam filter is pretty, I don't know, whatever Microsoft and my company is doing is working.
Yeah,
I get
that's
like an email a day with like junk and I'm like, nope, don't want any of it.
Mhm.
Most of it's like Aruba, Cisco, like the silliest things like they send.
I get a lot of junk emails where people ask me, "Hey, do you want a list of Aruba users, Cisco users?"
Oh, weird.
Always get those. And then on social media, it's like, "Hey, do you want to grow your followers to, like, you'll get 200,000 followers or something like that?" And sometimes I respond, I'm like, "Yeah, just give them to me. Like, I'm not gonna pay for it, but just give them to me." Then I had one guy, this happened yesterday. I had a guy message me on Twitter and he said, "Hey, you want to grow your Twitter followers?" And I said, "No, I don't need that." And then he's like, "Well, I can get you some followers." And he responded to my no by keep asking me, I said, "Hey, do you need Wi-Fi help? Like, I do professional services for Wi-Fi." And then he says, "No, I don't need Wi-Fi services." I'm like, "Yeah, same way I don't need your services. Bye." So I counter-sailed him. I tried to sell. But I've tried
like
cold
running
sales.
off.
It's hard. Cold sales is the hardest thing to do, but it does work. It's just a very low percentage. You have to do a lot of it in order to just get like one or two. Because it's all, I believe it's mainly good timing, and I think that's it. Good timing.
And luck, I guess.
Yeah. Well, if you do enough research, you'll know who might need either a product or your services, but you have to hit them at the right time, right? Because if I'm doing something I mean, we're all busy, right? So if I'm in the middle of something, I'm not likely to accept the sales call, a cold one. I'm not gonna stop what I'm doing just to hear a sales call. And so you have to get them at the right time. And that right time is so different for everyone, right? It's either before the day starts, it could be right before lunch, it could be in between meetings, but you just don't know what those are. Because I think I've managed to get through a few people, but only when I was doing cold sales, I think I made like 100 calls, but I only got one sale out of that 100. And then even then they were a tough client. So
Yeah. That's yeah, I've never had to do that, so that's very interesting.
I might try doing it again just to see if anything's different, because reaching technical people like us usually doesn't work. Just from my experience. But reaching a high level manager might work because they're more solutions driven. So if you can come in with a like addressing a problem that they have at that exact moment, they're more likely to listen. But again,
So
you gotta hit them at the right time.
I don't know, like for me, like it's always like finding the middle of, yes, you're the engineer, but let's put yourself in the shoes of these people. What you find is not a nuisance or very minimal is a huge stopper for somebody else. So like you always have to take that into retrospect, especially with wireless issues. I've always noticed, oh, that's not a huge issue, but I'll be like that's 5 minutes of lost productivity.
Mhm. And it's also the language that they use, right? Like some of this, a lot of salespeople do not know how to talk or what to say when they, even when you pick up the phone. It's like whatever they say is already, you just want to hang up.
Almost
They don't,
agitating. Yeah.
yeah, because it's all script based. They're all just reading off a script, and it just doesn't. You already know it comes off too salesy, and they don't care.
Yeah. Personally, like I would like 'cause I go to sales events and like the ones that always end up being the best ones where I learn the most are the ones where they have like technical people doing the labs and the demonstration and it's pretty casual.
Mhm.
Overly
But you
and
you
they're
got to get them there though, right?
yep
So
and it's
how do you get that person there? That's usually you doing the
it's
research and reaching out, right?
I
To
don't
get
ever
to
reach out
the
to
demo.
people.
Oh, you haven't. So how does somebody get you to a demo then?
Well, I guess sorry, I don't really reach out. They would reach out to us and it would be one of those things where I like talk to them, see if it's even worth my time
Yeah.
or worth our time. And then it's one of, because I work with other engineers and then it always
Mhm.
depends on who's going to go if anyone goes. And I'm normally the most outgoing on my team. So I end up going to the
Now,
events.
are these people that reach out to you directly, or was it someone on your team that brought them to you?
Most of the time it's they reach out to management and management's like, are they even
Okay.
worth anything? And then we put like an engineer on it to investigate it.
Yeah, so
Okay.
that's more of like a warm transfer to you because a manager told you to look at it.
But there are some times like where us as engineers bring in stuff and like have to push it more towards management, saying, hey, we need to
Mhm.
evolve or this is a good product for our customers.
Okay. Yeah, I'm just curious because I haven't had one where they call me directly and it made sense. Like the other day, I got a call from someone. I thought it was I was waiting for a call from a vendor. And so when I picked up, the first thing they said was, "Hi, do you need help with your website?" I just thought that was funny. I was like, "No." And then he said, "Okay, thank you." I
Yeah, like
was
the
like,
most
that was
recent
the
event I was
weakest
at,
sales.
I
Sorry,
was
go ahead.
recently at a Zscaler event and Zscaler did a pretty good job.
Okay. And it was more heavily on the technical side.
It was like 60-40.
Okay.
You could, if you're really technical, you kind of see through some of the weeds. But if it was like, if you're technical and it's your first time doing it, like seeing the product, like it was for me, it was pretty informative. But I would imagine if you're a customer, someone that's deployed it, you're like, yeah, this is like day 10 stuff.
We used to have Zscaler here.
Yeah, I guess it becomes more of a, how do you hit the sweet spot with technical, like the depth of technical content, right?
Yeah.
You want to scratch the surface, but then for others, you want to dive in a little bit deeper. So yeah,
I mean,
it's a fine balance.
yeah, you gotta spike the curiosity because you don't want everyone to glaze over in 5 minutes.
Yeah, exactly.
I'll say, like WLPC, it was a good mix. It was a good amount, I think, of technical. I brought my boss there too, and he's, he was my new boss, and he has really had no Wi-Fi experience, and some of it I think he completely glossed over. Plus, he was dealing with some other outages, but because he does other things, not just Wi-Fi. But I thought it was pretty good, like compared to like a Cisco Live,
Mhm.
where it's technical preaching of sales. It's very different.
So
Although
which
you do get some of those.
presentations did you like the most from the last WLPC?
It's been a while now. I think what's his name? That did the one on oh my gosh.
I'm gonna guess Dartmouth.
Yes, what's his name? I forgot. Totally forgot. Um I know his name. I forgot. Anyways, that was pretty good. I don't know if you guys know, he went on Packet Pushers. Brian Ward, of course. He went on
Brian Ward,
Packet
yeah.
Pushers and did a little more in-depth info on that. So,
Oh, he did. Okay.
yeah, I think Ethan Banks
I'll look
interviewed
it
him.
up.
I'll find the link for you if you can. I'm sure you can find it. But like there's a lot of things there. I was like, yeah, I've seen that too, and it was nice to hear someone else say that. And it was fairly in depth. Like a lot. Like there's definitely I've had conversations with like my own like coworkers about like how crazy
Yeah, he was
WPL.
on the heavy networking episode
Yes.
673, multicast DNS gone wild on
Yeah.
your
Yeah.
VLAN.
So it reminds me, I need to send that to everyone in my company to be like, hey, remember what I was talking to you about and you weren't listening? Like, here, you can
Yeah.
listen to someone else who knows more about it than me. And you know,
What other presentations did you find useful? Because I thought Brian's was one of the better ones because it was a good mix between technical and non-technical.
yeah. And real life, really, right?
Yeah.
That's the big one. What other ones were good? Wes always has good stuff.
Mhm.
So, I'm always curious, and I'm curious on everyone's like WPA3 journey and activating 6 gigahertz, like, because I'm trying to solve that problem internally as well. I was actually impressed with what's it called? Tonic and what MetaGeek is doing in terms of capture. I think that would make it, or it has made it a lot easier for end users to capture. Like trying to step someone through, and like obviously you can do it on the access points too, but like even certain Wi-Fi people, it's like yeah, you got to do all the channels with different adapters. This is just like easy peasy. So I thought that was really cool. What else did I star here? Jim, I think his name, how do you say it?
Jim
Vadja?
Vada.
Yeah, from Seven Signal, interesting metrics and numbers based on what he's seeing in the wild.
Yeah.
Obviously on, stuff that has their sensors.
He's
I think
at
that
Miss
was-
now.
Formerly Seven Signal, I guess.
Yeah.
Oh, he meant to
he's at
move
Miss
Nest. I did
now.
not know that.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, crazy.
Mhm.
Yeah, and what's his name? Ben Toner with, really getting into
Yeah,
trying
I
to
like
do what he
these too.
yeah, and get, the metrics you can get out of the iPhone, and like, who would have thought? What else did I star? Yeah, that's mostly it, I
What was
think.
the name of his application again?
N Oversight.
Oh, that's right. I'm gonna need that one.
I think the
excited
big,
for Cisco Live this year.
are you going?
Yep, I'll be there.
I was thinking about it, but I can't because it's birthday week, so.
It's my first
relatives
time
here.
here.
It's pretty crazy. I haven't been in many years. But it's a lot of people. It's impressive to see their temporary Wi-Fi deployment for the
Yeah.
event.
Yeah, I like seeing those. I
Yeah,
have the last one I went to was the year before COVID. Haven't gone since.
I haven't been since 2014. Or 2016, I think it was. I don't remember, somewhere around there.
I should probably go. I do enough Meraki and Cisco stuff. It's just there's too many events in 1 year, and I'm trying to be selective. So right now, my priority is on WLPC because I haven't gone to those. I would always go to Cisco, but avoid all the other conferences. So I kind of want to stick to WLPC again this year. So I'll probably go. I'm most likely going to Prague again this year, and maybe Phoenix the next. But I'm gonna try to push for a presentation, probably along the lines of OWE, WPA3, and 6 GHz transition. But I need to collect more data. Right now, I just have OWE in one building. I was gonna do WPA3 this week, but on Eduroam, but I think I might hold off for another week.
Yeah, I'm going.
Can't
I'm
lie,
going to London. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
like the main reason I want to go to Cisco Live because in my personal opinion, when it comes to wireless, I still feel like Cisco still does probably the best from a performance perspective with clients when it comes to like this, it's always going to work config wise. Like I know at the end of the day, if they have a 9800 or if they have Meraki, like it's going to be really good, especially with the Meraki dashboard. You can pull so much data from that. It just makes life so easy. The 9800, I've paired it with DNAC, and it's so good.
The Meraki dashboard is, I like finally that they're adding like that roaming piece. It's like, dude, it's about time.
That
Like,
was a big update, yeah.
like you needed Mist to do it first before you could do it. Like, come on.
I think Cisco is stepping up in their development with the new products. 9800s are working. We're like 60% migrated. And
You said they
it-
are
big
working?
sites, not us. Yeah, they're working pretty well, I'd say. Like we've cut over from AirOS to 9000 overnight in some of our big sites, and not a peep of complaints.
Wow. Okay.
In fact, I think something's got better. Yeah. Now, yeah, I was surprised. 17.9.3 code was what we're running though. So
So it's like 60% of the time it works 100% of the time.
yeah.
It's one way to say it.
Yeah. I don't know much about Meraki, but yeah, DNA is come a long ways since they
Yeah,
launched it
DNA
too.
Center is fantastic.
The data in there is amazing. Now I'm just
I
trying
am
to,
a big fanboy of it, cannot lie. I've deployed it
Yeah.
multiple times and the data from it,
yeah,
the old
it's pretty good.
images. So,
Um,
do you do much templating with it yet?
no, that is something like, so we're kind of using it just for assurance, but I guess
Mhm.
we need to shift our mindset in the long term of, using DNA to actually push out configs and template and stuff like that. That's something we haven't even bothered trying, and it was brought up last week or again yesterday, and people in my team was like, kind of like the current way we do it. I'm like, yeah, but I think there's better ways, and then you can start using AIRM and some of the other things that
Mhm.
don't exist. So it's kind of changing people's mind, workflows, right? I guess is what I have to figure out.
Nice for non-technical people like on the support desk, when there's a VLAN change request or a port bounce request, they can just log into DNA Center and change the VLAN and bounce a port
Mhm.
without having to get into the CLI, and you can lock access down if they don't use TACAPS on-prem. Pretty nice.
What's interesting is our campus, we have developers on our team, and we develop, or I say we, but that team developed a tool, a VLAN change tool, like a long time ago for our switches. So it's all dependent on where that network administrator at what building or school, and when they log in, they only see their switches and permissions and they can change the ports. So it's interesting to see like how that gets integrated now with other products, but ours is like all open, developed in-house.
Sweet though.
Are you running yours, Alex, through like just API calls? Cause like DNAC has not really very good RBAC support, right?
For the most part, what do you mean by running it with API calls? Like when we push configs out, or like what do you?
Oh, like no, giving other people access to it.
Oh, we just
um,
set up unique users on like
Oh, okay.
within. So like we have, it's pretty easy to lock down. You can either integrate it with Active Directory or
Oh, it's like through ICE
Yeah.
or something, I guess, right?
yeah, through ICE, but we just went straight to LDAP for some customers. And then depending on what LDAP group they're part of, they have different permission levels. And then you just build those permission groups within DNAG and then assign those groups to an LDAP group.
Oh, okay. For some
That
reason,
makes
I guess I was, yeah, I think so. Cause I think when I was reading through some of the docs, I was like, oh, it's like all or nothing, like all read only or nothing, but I guess there's more granular permissions in some parts that I haven't
Mhm.
found yet. Okay, I'll have to go do some more research.
All right, guys, we're at
Like the,
Pretty sick.
7:02.
Yeah, I better get back to work.
yeah. I
Even
got a
though I've been
conference
working in the
call.
background the entire time. So, you guys.
Yeah, thank you guys
Yeah,
though for
work.
joining. Cool. I'll try to do these more
Thanks for
regularly.
hosting.
Maybe do one where it's a technical side of things rather than just coffee hours. We'll do kind of like a quote unquote lunch and learn. So if you guys have any ideas
deep
or
dive into a
wanna
topic.
present something, yeah, if you guys want to present something too, like I'll post it and we could run it.
That's good.
Cool.
Also, like one other thing is I do way more than just wireless. So if you guys ever have like technical questions from firewall stuff, just shoot me a message in Slack.
Yeah, sounds good. We can also have discussions that aren't Wi-Fi. Like I do more than Wi-Fi also. So
Same.
and I think for a lot of us it's like that. But yeah, thanks you guys for joining. Have a good rest of your day, and I'll see you guys online.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Bye.
guys. Nice to meet you all. See you. Bye.
Bye.